Good morning, and thanks, Vanessa, for introducing myself. So, as I heard before, I think you all had a very good night yesterday, and I see some tired faces there. And I think now I have the opportunity to get your minds from not a very sunny Dublin today, but to a more colder season, so the holiday season. So first of all, I would like to ask a question into the audience. So how many of you have already thought about holiday presents for this year's season? Okay, I see some arms up there. And how many of you have already prepared your businesses for the holiday season? So have campaigns ready? I can see also some arms up there and there. Good. So first of all, let me introduce myself. So I'm Aline Breiter. I'm a senior industry analyst in the German retail team, and I'm with Google for 8.5 years now. I started in the market insights team, taking care of some of the global projects that we have. So the consumer commerce barometer was one of my projects, as well as our mobile planet as a website that we have. And then last year I moved over into the retail team, and I'm working on many of the strategic projects, and I'm also leading the holiday and seasonal initiative that we have in Germany. So first of all, I would like to tell you a story. As I said, I started last year in July in the retail team, and one of the first projects that I was referred to was a Christmas project. And imagine, it was July. The summer had started. We all wore short shirts and T-shirts and sandals. And I was like, shall I call my colleagues crazy? Why do we think about Christmas now? But I think when I started the first research and did some things, it was really interesting. Oh, let me move over here. It was really interesting to see that it's really important that you start early, because consumers already start early. So therefore, I think I'm a very good person to walk you now through the next minutes, through the 4 facts that I see that are relevant when it comes to the holiday season. So happy holidays, be ready for the seasonal peaks, will be divided into 4 different trends or facts that I see. And then at the end, there will be some sales recommendations I would like to hand over to you. So what are the 4 key holiday facts? First of all, it's all about time and volume. So I think this is really important to keep in mind. And then people are looking for different things now. I think the third thing is also important, because mobile, and I heard that there was a mobile session yesterday and you talked a lot about mobile, it's also relevant. So mobile is a key sales assistant. I think this is also an important fact around the holiday season. And then it's over when it's over. So normally, and you will see this in the upcoming slides, holidays are not the end of the holiday season. So let me first start with the first fact. It's all about timing. So before I start, I think it's good to set the grounds for the discussion that we will have. So it's very good to have a value in mind when we talk about the retailing business in Europe, or in this case, EMEA. So what you can see here are the EMEA retailing revenues from 2012 to 2016. And if we look into 2014, so last year, we had a value of around 3 trillion euros, excluding taxes. And this will rise up to around 3.4 trillion in 2016. So over the entire period that you see here on the slide, we have a growth rate of around 13% when it comes to the retail revenues. So therefore, there is a lot of business in there. And when we talk about the holiday season, I have some numbers for last year. So around 20% of the annual retail revenue comes out of the holiday season. So therefore, it's really challenging for the business to get their piece of the cake during this period of time. And for this, it's also really important that you are ready and prepared when it comes to the holiday season. We have done some research in Germany where we try to get a sense of when do consumers start preparing their holiday season, so presents on all these things. And due to the fact that we have done similar researches before in other markets, we can say that these German numbers are also valid for other markets. What you can see here is the first phase that we see, so the first ideas for holiday presents. And interestingly, you can see that before September, already 11% of the consumers said that they get their first ideas. There's then a small dip in October, but then it peaks again in November. So the first ideas came or normally comes to the minds of the people really early in the holiday season. And then when it then comes to the second phase, so everything about the start of the research, we see that there is an intensive growth rate beginning of October, and it again peaks then to November and early December. So when it comes to the purchase decision, so what kind of product would I like to purchase, we see again a second or a new peak at the beginning of December, so to mid-December. And then the last phase is then the final purchase. So this is then normally made throughout the December. So what you can see here is a very long process when it comes to the holiday season. And you can see that throughout the entire process, people build their relevant set. And this relevant set is defined by brands they have contact with throughout the entire process. So therefore, it's really relevant that you are there in the entire process, that you will be kept in mind when the final purchase decision is made. So what is in there for you now? So I think it's important that you make sure that you are prepared early, and you also increase your performance by fully engaging with the entire consumer path. I will not go through all of the things that we have on the slide because you will get the presentation afterwards, but I think it's really important that you focus on two things. So first of all, in the green box that you see there is the RLSA thing. So it's really important that you combine your generic keywords list with RLSA so that you can contact, again, people that had already contact to your brand throughout the entire holiday process. And then I think dynamic search ads are another product that you can use. So moving then on to the second fact that I showed you before. So people are looking for different things. So one question into the audience: would you like to focus on a healthy diet or better on a bar of chocolate? I see some laughs there. So what's my intention behind? So what you can see here is a result of Google Trends. And I've heard that someone presented this tool to you yesterday. And it's really interesting when you look into the different search interest curves for both of these search terms. So you can see in blue the healthy diet, and then in red the types of chocolate. So it's really interesting that throughout the year the healthy diet search volume is higher than for the bars of chocolate. But yet around the holidays, there is a peak, and the bars of chocolate search volume overruns the healthy diet. So I would call this the sweet excuse that some of us might put right around the holiday season. But I think it's important that you get the power of the Google Trends, because this is a tool where you can get a sense of what are the consumer interested in throughout the year. And especially if you are working in different markets, you can get this, or you can use this tool to see the differences in the different markets. So then, on the other hand, it's not only Google Trends where you can get data from. Also in the internal tools, we see that there are different search behaviors throughout the holiday season. What you can see here on the slide are the indexed search query volumes for the top 6 Christmas or holiday presents. So we have fashion, we have books, consumer electronics, perfumes, toys, and video games. And you can see here that throughout the process or throughout the year, there is an increase in the query volume for these 6 keywords. And especially in August, you see that the queries are raising. And I think I would like to focus now on the violet or lila or the curve that you see here for toys. You see that the peak is earlier, so around November. But this is due to the fact that people would like to make sure that the present is available till the holiday season. Nobody of us would like to imagine a crying child if the child is not getting the present he put on the list for Santa Claus. So therefore, I think this is important to keep in mind. And I know, and Vanessa pointed it out, we have 26 markets in the audience today. And some of these markets might not have the real holiday season. So for you, this is also a great export opportunity because other markets have a very high query volume, so you can think of relevant export opportunities for your business. And then it's not only research that people do around the holidays. We also found out that people are much better informed before they do the purchase. So what you can see here is the average number of sources people consult before they do the purchase. And while in 2010, people used an average of 5 sources, this more than doubled to 2014 with around 12 different sources. And this is a great mix out of online and offline sources. And we all know that especially search engines play a very important role in the entire thing here, but also magazines are important. And then on the other hand, I think showrooming is also an important thing that we have. 20 or 52% of holiday shoppers would like to go in-store before they purchase the product. So this might be then a relevant option for pure online players to come up with pop-up stores, and then also on the other hand for pure or for in-store retailers to get the business here. And again, what is in there for you now? So you should tailor the strategy to the regular changing search behaviors of your consumers. So by using Google Trends and also think about export opportunities. And then the third thing I would like to walk you through is mobile is a key sales assistant. So first of all, you also get some information yesterday about the consumercommercebarometer.com website. So last week, we released new smartphone and tablet penetration data for 56 markets and other interesting insights. And what you can see here at the bottom left are the smartphone penetration data for 6 of the EMEA markets that are selected. So we have Greece in there, Russia, France, Germany, UK, and Sweden. And interestingly is the dark green bar here. So more than 50% of the people in these countries have now a smartphone. So nearly every second person in each of these markets have a smartphone. But what you can see also here, that we have kind of saturation in markets where we have a very high smartphone penetration rate. So the assumption is that there are now more smartphones. There is also more mobile traffic that you can get. So, if there is more smartphone traffic, there's also more smartphone research. 93% of consumers who use their mobile to research go on to purchase. And I think this is a very important number, and it shows the important role of smartphones throughout the entire process. And then another exciting fact that I found out, if you look into the different search behavior of desktop and mobile users. Again, you see the indexed search query volume for mobile and desktop, and I choose in this case the product perfume, but this curve is also relevant for the other presents I showed you before. So you can see here that the search query volume from the desktop PCs for perfume peaks in the week before the holidays, and then it slowed down, while the traffic on the smartphone is still growing. So I see 2 reasons for this. The first one is that it's a secret present phenomenon. If you would like to get a present for your wife or your husband, you normally do not use the family PC, you use your smartphone. And then on the other hand, I think it's another reason is this last minute thing. So people commute a lot, so therefore they have their smartphone and then they research right before the holidays. And the research is also important when it comes to the entire purchase process. So smartphone research is mainly done in the first 2 phases of this process. So in the discovery and in the price comparison phase. When it later on comes to the purchase, the smartphones are not so relevant at the moment. And I think for this, it's really important that you have cross-device conversion tracking implemented so that you attribute the right amount of traffic to each of the channels. So I think this is really important when it comes to the research stage. But then on the other hand, I think it's not only research what you normally do with your smartphone, it's also the assistant function that the smartphone has. So 75% of smartphone shoppers plan to use their phone in store during the holiday season, and another 84% already did this in the past. And then the fact in the middle I found really interesting. So 1 out of 3 smartphone shoppers plan to look at the smartphone instead of asking a person. So this shows again the role of the smartphone as a personal companion. So you prefer to talk to the electronic friend instead of a human person. And then I think it's also important to get a sense of the role of websites and apps. What you can see here that around 2/3 prefer the mobile website and another 1/3 said, okay, they prefer the app. I think the traffic, on the other hand, shows the same direction. So, and the main reason for it is from my perspective, a discovery thing. So if you have your smartphone, you normally use Google to see where to shop a product. So this increases, on the one hand, the website or the mobile website traffic. But on the other hand, I think all the investment that you normally do in the apps also pays out, and especially on special days. So throughout the week, normally people shop online, and when it comes to the weekends and the people are in store, they use their mobile device, use an app, and then check out prices and whatever. So therefore, I think it's really important that you are prepared for both channels and have a mobile website and an app in place. So what is in there for you now? So I think you have to make sure that you take the advantages of the mobile AdWords feature that we have. So have mobile preferred or good mobile text available, and also have cross-device conversion tracking in place. Let's start then with the 4th fact. It's not over until it's over. So again, I had a look into Google Trends, and it's really interesting to see that holidays and vouchers go strongly aligned. So therefore, I brought now some insights for voucher and return with me. So the red line are the vouchers, and the blue line is return. Again, indexed search query volume. And interestingly, you see that the search volume for vouchers is really high before the holidays, have a dip then right after the holidays, and goes up at the beginning of the year. So vouchers are a very good present for a person where you're not quite sure what to buy. So they can then do the selection, so the person who gets the voucher. But interestingly, we see that at the beginning of the year, return also peaks. This is also when you get a present and you would like to return the present, you are looking for new options online. So this is a very good way where you can come up with creative ad texts and get the attention of these users. And also another thing that I mentioned before is that we have more smartphones now in Europe and globally. And also a tendency to give high-end devices as holiday presents. So what you can see here is the indexed search query volume from mobile devices. And interestingly, in the first 6 weeks of the new year, the mobile traffic increases by 10%. So this is again important for your mobile strategy. So maybe to put more budget at the beginning of the year to get these new users, because this is all incremental mobile traffic that was not there in the year before. And then I would like to end this fourth season with an outlook for you. So at the end, users are well prepared for the upcoming holiday season. I brought this example for you that last year around the holidays, people already looked for the holidays 2015. So they are well prepared. And when it comes now to the holiday season, I think around 30% say this is a very funny and creative and inspiring time, while another 30% say this is really time consuming and it's very stressful. So I think it's now your choice to decide how people will go out of this holiday season. Will they be happy or will they be frustrated at the end? So therefore, so what's in there for you? So I think you have to make sure that you plan ahead extra, less competitive demand post-peak budgets. Plan this holiday season by checking out what happened last year and then remarketing previous purchases by remarketing. So what have we learned now? First of all, it's all about timing and volume. We have learned that around 20% of the annual retail budget comes in the holiday season, and that people start researching early. And then people are looking for different things now. So we have seen there, on the one hand, there is this secret excuse. And on the other hand, people are much better informed. So if you prepare your campaigns, you have to be aware that the people know a lot about the product. And mobile is a key sales assistant. So there is much more mobile traffic out there. And you can get this traffic by having attractive campaigns in place. And then on the other hand, it's not used only to research, it's also a shopping assistant that you can use. And then the fourth thing, it's not over till it's over. So I think it's important that right after the holidays, you can start cashing out the vouchers and also attract consumers who would like to return their presents. What are now the next steps for you? So I have now summed up 7 different things that you could do when it comes to the holiday season. So first of all, start planning daily and weekly budget distribution now, because we have seen there are differences in mobile traffic. On the other hand, there's also different interest in products. Have a seasonal calendar in place, so make sure that you are aware when to use which product, and I think your account managers might also help you with this. And then spot missed opportunities, especially in the export space. So by using Google Trends or having a look into your account. And then I think it's good to combine the generic keywords list with RLSA so that you get the people who have already have had contact with your brand throughout the entire holiday process. And then creative texts. I think this is important for return, but on the other hand, if there are sales right after the holidays, this might be also important. And then be aggressive on mobile, have your mobile bits right, have a website and an app. And then I think it's important people search cross-device, have cross-device conversion tracking in place. So with this, I would like to say thank you and hope you will be prepared for the holiday season, and happy holidays.